know a single Death Note fan who hasn't questioned if Light Yagami became a shinigami. While doing all the research, I found every piece of proof. I want you to watch the entire...
What up guys, it's Wonder from Wonder Empire, and today we're gonna be doing another reaction video. It's a reaction video about Light Yagami became a shinigami in Death Note, and this guy says he got all the proofs to this theory. Since it's the theory everybody had, because I had a bunch of theories with me and my friends. We had a bunch of theories thinking that Yagami became a shinigami since Ryukyu said the person who uses a Death Note doesn't die, he doesn't go to heaven or hell. So he didn't clarify where the person goes. So me and my friend were thinking that maybe the person goes to the shinigami realm, so that person becomes a shinigami since he had once used the power of a shinigami. So guys, let's react to see if the theories had been proved, if this guy has all the proof we need. So let's start. And guys, if you like the video, please hit the like button, please comment on what you think, and please subscribe to the channel and check out our other videos. Okay, we can begin.
And let me know your opinion in the comments.
Okay, let's do this.
Now, for 7 years, Kira ruled the world. Crime vanished and fear took its place. Hardcore criminals disappeared, and for the first time in history, humanity behaved. So to some, he was a murderer. But to millions, he was a savior and a god. Even after Light's death, Kira's followers kept praying. And in the epilogue of Death Note, we see it. There's a cult still worshipping his name, waiting for his return.
Okay, from the looks of it, this guy's referring to the manga. And I never read the manga, so I don't know what the fuck is happening in the manga since I never read it. So I didn't even know there was a kid that worshipped Light Yagami. I didn't know of it. This is my first time noticing a kid which worshipped Light Yagami. So maybe this guy has the proof, since I never read the manga, so I don't know a lot about the manga, because I just remember the enemy why Light Yagami died. So yeah.
And when Kira vanished, crime crept back and the world returned to its chaos. And this legacy didn't die with Light. Even in the Death Note sequel one-shot manga featuring Tanaka, Ryuk reveals he once gave a Death Note to someone just like him, named Kira, of course. And when he realizes this, my dude is starstruck. He states, "Wait, Kira? He reduced crime and ended wars, and he learned about him in ethics and history class. Ethics calls him evil, whilst history calls him a mass murderer. But even after all this time, most people still see Kira as a good figure. That right there proves it. Light Yagami didn't just die, his ideology became immortal. He was studied like a myth, fed like a devil, and worshipped like a god. This means Light Yagami did change the world through the legacy he left behind. But what if that worship and his godlike obsession are exactly what gave birth to the new shinigami we see later? A god born from the very void Ryuk warned him about. We all know Nair's deduction of Light being Kira was the collapse of his psychological god complex. But before Light died, Ryuk dropped one of the biggest reveals in the entire manga. In chapter 107, he tells Light, "Don't think that any human who's used the Death Note can go to heaven or hell." Now at first, Light interprets that as, okay, so heaven and hell just don't exist. And Ryuk agrees, stating everyone goes to the same place after death. So that begs the question, where do they actually...
So now this guy's answering my question. He has the same theory as I have with my friends, because we all thought that Yagami became a shinigami after his death, but we weren't proven wrong or right, because it was the hypothesis that was never answered, since the anime didn't release other episodes, since the realm just dropped and never released anything. And from the manga, it seems that they continued with the sequel. I see a sequel about a new character, a new MC, but he's still remembered. Kira is still remembered in that manga. And some people say he was a god, some people say he was a heretic, some say he was a kill leader, some say he was a murderer. So me guys, personally, I think Kira was a good guy, since he eliminated half of the criminals and thieves but I don't recall him eliminating war. I don't remember. Oh, the anime didn't cover that story because I remember him killing criminals and almost wanting to kill L, but ended up killing his father since he didn't want to be killed, or he didn't want to be figured who he was. So from the manga, it seems like the manga covers a lot of unseen footage or a lot of unknown footage to the anime watcher, since we watched the anime and never read the manga. So it seems that if we had read the manga, we could have understood what was going on in the anime, since I can see that the anime continued, but I can see that the guy is also having the same theory as us, like maybe Kira or like Yagami became a shinigami, since Ryukyu said when you die, when you have used the Death Note, you don't go to heaven, you don't go to hell. So there was another dimension where you could have gone to, and that dimension could have meant that you could become a shinigami. You could have become basically a dead god. Yeah, a Grim Reaper. You could have become a Grim Reaper, if you know what I mean. So let's continue.
Go! Now, according to the Death Note rules, the answer is simple. They go to Mu. In Japanese, Mu translates to nothingness. But this isn't just nothing in the Western sense. It's a deep Zen Buddhist concept. Mu means a void beyond human comprehension. The rejection of all false dualities like good and evil. It's not that there's no afterlife. It's that the question itself, where do we go after death? It's meaningless, because once you die, there is no you left to go.
Yeah, now this guy's covering it. What the fuck, bro? I thought we were just talking about the anime theory about death. Now, why are I covering the questions that we have about our daily lives? Like, how would I know I died? Where will I go after I die? Is there heaven? Is there hell? What about if you was good? Do you go to heaven? If you was buried, do you go to hell? Bruh. Nigga, we were talking about Death Note. Now you're talking about life, nigga. Now you're starting to scare me. Bro. Now you're starting to scare me. This is getting a little creepy, guys. I know this is gonna get a little creepy. So to the guys who got to share, sorry for that, guys. Sorry to the Buddhas. Because this video is covering a lot of shit, even know what I mean. Because now it's starting to answer he's starting to question about where we go when we die. Because no one knows. Now you gotta stay. Is gonna scare me? Now, bro, you're gonna starting to scare me, bro.
Anywhere. So technically, every human becomes part of nothingness. They lose their ego and identity, exactly as Buddhist teachings to describe the end of samsara, the cycle of rebirth. But here's where things get interesting, and why light becoming a shinigami makes absolute sense. According to Ryuk in chapter 109, we discover that Light Yagami was built different. A shinigami named Midra bribed the shinigami king with 13 apples so he could give another human a death note. This version of Kira ends up killing the elderly over 60 as a form of relief. But Midra then reveals that after he started killing people on the TV, his Death Note user got really pale and didn't move for 3 days. He squealed and went insane, writing his own name instead. Ryuk then explains that for a human to use a Death Note, they need strong spiritual strength and conviction. That's why Midra's trash Kira was nothing compared to Light Yagami. Our MC went through the same turmoil when he killed his first 2 victims, but he tanked through it and lasted 7 years, lasting longer than any human in Death Note history. Even the Shinigami King seems to have taken an interest in Light more so than other users, because in Death Note's official data, the King's stats are immeasurable in everything, and he is too incredible for human comprehension. But the King hates any human who profits from the Death Note without actually writing in it and using it for its purpose. This is proven with his permission to let Light Yagami's campaign as Kira to go on, but then he killed Tanaka in the...
Damn, bro. And I just record that Yagami killed a lot of niggas. Like, yeah, Light Yagami was bruv. Light Yagami was a disaster. Bruv, Light Yagami was a disaster. Nigga killed a lot of people. Nigga basically killed a lot of people. Nigga killed like half of the villain's population, if you know what I mean. Nigga killed half of the population. It was not good, bruv. Now I see why L was obsessed by finding out who Kira was. First guy, boy, basically killed everybody. Nigga, if you see how he was writing down, bro.
Actually writing in it and using it for its purpose. This is proven with his permission to let Light Yagami's campaign as Kira to go on.
Bro was a god killer, bro. Bro was gifted to be a killer, nigga, if you know what I mean. Nigga killed his father. Nigga killed his father, bro. Nigga, I don't know what nigga was thinking. I don't know what nigga, which drugs were nigga on. Bro, L was the jinx of it, bro. L was the reason why Light killed his father. Because if I recall, L saying something like, Kira wouldn't hesitate to kill his own father if you wanted to prove his innocence. Bruv, you jinxed that guy, bruv. You jinxed Kira's father. Because it didn't take much time. Kira killed his own father. And you know what I mean? He killed his father. That nigga was a god killer. And I understand why the king or the dead king Light Kira, bruv, was merciless. Bruv was merciless to anyone. If anyone did some shit, nigga would kill him instantly, if you know what I mean. So let's continue.
But then he killed Tanaka. In the main series, the king never appeared nor got in the way of Light's plans because he used the Death Note the way it was intended. However, as soon as he learns that Minoru Tanaka plans to sell the Death Note without actually writing a name in it, he gets furious and writes up the new rule, which kills anyone who either sells or buys the Death Note after using it. This ends up killing him despite his plan actually succeeding. The king also controls the distribution of every Death Note given to all shinigami upon their creation. So to me, it wouldn't be far-fetched to believe the king made Light Yagami's soul into one of them. But interestingly, there's one more case that hints at something even stranger in the Death Note world. In the novel, Another Note, The Los Angeles BB Murder Cases, it's set before the Kira incident. L and Naomi investigate a serial killer named Beyond Birthday. He's a human who somehow possessed shinigami eyes from birth, meaning he can see people's names and lifespans without ever making the deal. For example, he instantly knew when and how his parents would die. It's never fully explained, but Mello jokingly speculates that maybe a shinigami dropped one of their eyeballs into the human world by accident. So if a human could be born with shinigami eyes, then maybe a human soul could be reborn as a shinigami. However, there's even more crazy evidence. Death Note Relight expanded upon the finale, as it cut the story showing Ryuk's perspective instead. And in the final scene, Ryuk tells another shinigami about the story of Light Yagami. Ryuk calls it the most interesting thing that ever happened in the human world. A story about a man who tried to change the world and become a god, an experience that he would never forget. So we all know how this story started. Ryuk dropped the Death Note into the human world because he was bored out of his skull. And Light Yagami started killing people for the exact same reason, boredom. And that's what makes this
Oh, bruv, nigga was so bored, bruv. Understand, nigga was so bored, They killed a bunch of people. Nah, bruv. Nah, nigga should have found it. Bruv, you should have looked for a girlfriend. Nigga, you could have got into a relationship if you was bored, nigga. Why did you kill all people, bruv? Why did you kill all people? Nigga, why did you kill all people, nigga? Yeah, just because you was born, nigga, you killed a bunch of people, bruv. You got so because of boredom, bruv, it led you to killing people. Riku, you dropped a poop because of boredom. No, a bunch of people died because of boredom. That's why they say curiosity killed the cat. If you're bored, find something else to do, like finding a girlfriend. Playing games, bruv. There's PSP, Xbox, nigga. You can do basically anything. Never kill nobody, bruv. Never kill nobody. Don't get into gangs. If you know what I mean, don't get into gangs, bruv. No, nigga started killing people like it was a daily job. Bruv, it was this job, he wasn't getting paid just because of boredom, bruv. Started becoming a god killer, a grim reaper, bruv.
mysterious unnamed shinigami so eerie? Because just like Ryuk and Light before him, he says he's bored too. And what does he decide to do? He plans to descend into the human realm because he's sick of the shinigami world. Now, even back in chapter 5, when Ryuk describes their realm as a meaningless existence, he states the human world doesn't mean a thing to us anymore. Nobody even knows what we're here for. The realm of the shinigami has gone to the dogs. They're basically trapped in boredom, immortal creatures who can't die unless they break their own law. And Light responds stating, if your world is that rotten, why not make some changes when you go back? Apply what you've seen here. It's even insinuated by Light that shinigami come to Earth every century or millennium, and their actions totally transform the human world, making them more meaningful than Ryuk seems to understand, because the deaths that they cause on Earth actually shape the political, ethical, and world state. So it's a moment where we see Light compare himself to a god, someone who thinks he can fix what even the divine can't. And that's the ultimate irony of Light becoming a shinigami. His obsession follows him into a world where none of that is possible, so he wants to go back to the human realm. I mean, tell me this, how the hell did this light-looking shinigami know Ryuk loves apples and would exchange a story for it? All the other shinigamis state Ryuk never tells them anything, and there are also quite a few similarities between this shinigami and Light. The red tie is the most obvious clue. It's identical to the one Light wore, both in his school uniform and when he died. And now, even as a shinigami, he's still clinging to it because he wants to remember who he once was. That's why he searches for Ryuk to speedrun the story in 3 hours. But then there's something even bigger. The flight goggles. It's an interesting detail and one of the most overlooked that completely gives it away. Like, remember the Shinigami Eyes deal? Ryuk offered Light the power to see anyone's name and lifespan in exchange for half his remaining life. But Light refuses it. But then he admits he'd accept the deal instantly if he could also fly. Because flight to him is the ultimate sign of godhood. And now we see this new Shinigami wearing flight goggles, which no other character in Death Note ever mentions wanting to fly. And the clues just keep stacking. The messenger bag across his shoulder is the exact same one Light used back in high school. And then there's the hair, the same.
Dang, bruv. Bruv, where did you get your information, bruv? Nigga, you gotta teach your information, bruv. From the tie to the goggles, bruv. To the bag, nigga, to the messaging bag, bruv. No, I couldn't even think of that, bruv. I couldn't think of that. Nobody could have thought about that. So I won't say your information is baseless, since I can see you coming with a lot of proof clues to why you are saying that maybe Light became a shinigami, maybe Light became a god. So I'll believe in what you are saying right now. I'll choose to believe you, since, bruv, your proof or your clues check out based on what I thought, but I didn't read the manga, so I don't know what the fuck is happening. I didn't even know there was a guy who looked like Light Yagami. I just thought maybe he could have been given powers, or since they said a person doesn't die, maybe he goes to the shinigami world, then he, bruv. So now what you're telling me, maybe it checks out. It checks out with the theory of Light becoming a god. So when he returns, how would he return? So let's check it out. Let's continue, guys. Let's continue.
Spiky golden brown locks, and this can't be some random design coincidence. Even his eyes give it away. Every time Light descended deeper into madness as
this face. Nah, bruv, this fight. Bruv, this evil smile, this evil laugh. It terrorized me, because since I watched this anime when I was in grade 7 or 6, that's when I watched this anime, bruv. I couldn't sleep at night. Bro, because of this guy, I started having nightmares. Because of this guy, because of his laugh, I started having nightmares. Nigga, this guy terrorized my nights. I still remember those nights. I still remember, even from the song, the song from Nightmare, The World, when this guy was laughing, nigga, when this guy, bruv, this guy gave me nightmares. He gave me nightmares. I couldn't sleep at night.
Kira, his eyes would burn red. And now, as a shinigami, those red eyes are permanent. The visual proof that his humanity has been consumed by the very power he once wielded. Also, if you've ever watched Death Note's second opening carefully, there's a shot like 10 seconds before it ends, where Light is shown crossing into the shinigami realm. His silhouette is twisting into something in.
Yeah, I remember. Maybe it's the 26th episode I recall watching when it changes, but that's the opening was shit. The opening, I didn't like the second opening. I didn't like it, so sometimes I would skip it. But I noticed a few times that when I was skipping, maybe to land at that scene, so I would have watched it. I would have clicked on it, so I would watch a little bit of it. And I remember these clips. I was like, maybe I was hoping maybe, and I didn't know that at the last episode, Kira would die, Light would die. So I was just like, that's what happened. That's what happens in anime. Since a lot of animes just show it different scenes, maybe where the MC will get transported to, where the MC might transmigrate into, but it didn't happen. And now the writer just said the writer didn't release anything new. So it's like, fuck it. Maybe the anime was never going to continue.
Human, which could foreshadow his metamorphosis. And finally, this shinigami walks with a limp, the same injury Light had as he bled out in his final moments. Now, if you didn't know, Obata, one of the creators of Death Note, did design the unnamed shinigami in the Relight special. The anime production team intentionally gave the shinigami similarities to Light as a homage, but without officially declaring him to be Light. But Ryuk's dialogue makes the connection unmistakable, because as the special ends, Ryuk looks down at his own Death Note and states, "You are not a god, you are something else." But then he looks up and realizes that the shinigami he was speaking to is already gone. Now, of course, he won't stay to hear the end of Ryuk's story because he already knows how it ends. It's implied he remembers who he truly was. So to Light, that would be the ultimate humiliation to hear how he lost as Kira. Ryuk then states, "Maybe you'll be lucky and see something you'll never forget for the rest of your life. Wouldn't you agree, Light?" And right as he says his name, the camera cuts to the unnamed shinigami walking away to the human realm. The framing and timing are just way too perfect for it to be a coincidence. But wait, doesn't that mean Light actually won in the end? He became a death god, just like he always wanted, right? Well, if Light did become a shinigami, then technically he lost out on his dreams. It would actually be a punishment for someone like him. The very power that made him feel alive and not bored is what leads to an eternity of emptiness and boredom. It's an irony. Light actually loved the game, the tension of outsmarting L, the danger of consequences, and the rush of playing God. But as a real god of death, there are no more opponents and no one to outthink, and no one even remembers his name. I mean, Light was someone who wanted the entire world to know.
Yeah, brother, I get what you're saying. Since Light would not have any contenders anymore, that would just be basically boring. That would be boring, if you know what I mean. That would be boring. So, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I can see where you're going to. So Light Yagami became the new Death Reaper that we are seeing right now, the skinny MF. So okay. So the thing that is that, prof, how can you explain the theory about the soul? Prof, did you also get injured when you were shot in the leg? Because the soul is not a physical thing, so how could it have been shot, or how could you have been injured in the gunshot with the gunshot, since a soul is not a physical material, it's a spiritual. So if Light Yagami was reincarnated, that means his soul was the one that reincarnated, right? So I can't connect how Light Yagami is limping and how his material, like the chart, the bag. Where did they come from, bro? Where did they come from? Can you please explain that? Where did they come from? Because I got what you are saying, but if you can explain more, then I would understand where you are coming from and where you are going to. Since I can see the other clues fit, or the clues that we are given, they can fit, but you also need to get deeper into the topic, so with that we can understand where you get that proof. Because so that means the clothes that Yagami was wearing were also worn by his spirit, but he didn't have a bag at that time. Okay.
His existence. So to be completely forgotten and to watch humanity from afar, unable to influence it into the perfect world that he said he wanted, that would actually be anguish. Now, of course, not all theories are perfect. The creator of Death Note once said, when a person dies, they can never come back to life. Bringing someone back is cheating, and death equals nothingness. So in his view, life can never come back to life. Bringing someone back is cheating, and death equals nothingness. So in his view, Light didn't become a shinigami, he simply ceased to exist. Oba has said that he never wanted to portray an afterlife in Death Note, because doing so, even showing a hell for criminals or a heaven, it would introduce a moral framework he wished to avoid. Now in the anime, it made changes where Light saw L's soul, or a homage of him whilst he died. Well, apparently to the creators, that was just a hallucination. Sugami Oba then said that his message was meant to be clear. We only live once, and we should value that life without expecting any divine rewards or punishments. His intent was never to build a world of reincarnation, but to show that death itself is the final equalizer. Now that said, Death Note has always lived between philosophy and interpretation, and depending on which version of the story you follow, there are two ways to see Light's ending. If you follow the manga and anime, then the author's word is final. Light Yagami didn't become a shinigami, he simply ceased to exist, swallowed by Mu and the nothingness he was warned about. It's a realistic, almost nihilistic ending that reflects Oba's worldview. But if you consider Relight and its alternate continuity, the clues are undeniable. The unnamed shinigami's design, dialogue, and actions all mirror Light perfectly. In that version, Light's ambition and his desire to be God lives on, and he achieves a twisted form of immortality, reborn as the very creature he once tried to manipulate. So, which is true? That's up to you, the audience, to judge. Let me know in the comments. Now, if you want to enjoy more Death Note content, watch this video on